If you run a service-based business, dealing with no-shows is a real cost. Someone books, life gets busy, they forget, and that slot is then gone forever. Now, in this situation, most businesses go for a manual approach. Someone on the team sends an email the day before, or it's completely forgotten and falls through the cracks entirely. But here's what makes this workflow different from the built-in reminders your calendar already has. Google Calendar's default reminders are system notifications, a generic ping from an app. This workflow sends a branded email from your own inbox, your own voice, in your own copy. To your client, it feels like someone on your team has reached out personally. Today, I'm going to show you how to build this in n8n using Google Calendar, which is what most of you are probably already using. The moment a new appointment is created on your calendar, this workflow sends an immediate confirmation email and automatically schedules a reminder for 24 hours before the appointment. Let's get to it. We're going to have 6 total nodes in this one, and like the lead capture tutorial, this one will also branch into 2 simultaneous paths partway through. I'll explain that in a little bit more detail when we get to it. The first node we'll need is the Google Calendar trigger. This is what will actually start the whole workflow automatically, the moment a new event is created on your calendar. Unlike the schedule-based triggers that we've been using in earlier tutorials, this one is event-driven. It doesn't run on a timer, it fires in response to something actually happening. n8n pulls your Google Calendar regularly, and the moment it detects a new event, it passes all the event data forward to the workflow. I'm going to connect my Google account, which is already set up since we've used Google Notes throughout this whole series, and point the trigger at the calendar where my client appointments actually live. That's an important detail. Set this to a specific appointment's calendar rather than your main calendar. Otherwise, the workflow will just fire every time you create any event. Now, every time a new appointment is created in that calendar, this workflow will wake up automatically. The second node will be the set node. The data coming from the Google Calendar is detailed, but we need to pull out the specific fields that we care about and format them cleanly before we go through anything downstream. I'm going to map 8 different fields: the invitee's name, an email pull from the first attendee on the event, the event name from the calendar title, the start time in both raw and human readable formats, the location, a link back to the calendar event itself, and a calculator reminder send time, which is exactly 24 hours before the appointment starts. That last one, the reminder send time, is what the wait node will be used for later, and I'll explain that in a little bit more detail when we get to it. Everything downstream now has clean, consistent name data to work with. Alright, now here's where this workflow splits into 2 simultaneous paths, the same pattern as the lead capture tutorial. The first path will lead to a confirmation email immediately. The second path starts a 24-hour wait before the reminder. Both start at the same time the moment the set node finishes, neither waits for the other. Now first for the left path, the Gmail confirmation email. This will go out the moment the appointment is created. The invitee will get a professionally formatted email from your own inbox. Appointment name, date, time, location, and a link back to the Google Calendar event so they can view and manage it directly. From their perspective, this will feel like a personal outreach from your business and not a system notification. I'll set the recipient to pull from the invitee email field and configure the message. This will send the confirmation the moment the appointment is created. Now for the right path, the wait node. This is the most interesting node in the workflow, and the one that makes a reminder possible without any external scheduler. When execution hits this node, the workflow pauses. It doesn't close and it doesn't fail. It sits and waits until the specific time calculated from the appointment start time, then wakes up automatically and continues. In a real deployment, this is set to resume exactly 24 hours before the appointment, calculated automatically from the event data every time the workflow runs. You never touch it manually. For this demonstration, I'm going to set it up so it resumes a few minutes later so we can see the full end-to-end flow without waiting for a full day. Set once, it runs automatically for every appointment for that point forward. When the wait node resumes, the next node will be an if node, a simple check before the reminder goes out. The question it'll ask is the appointment still in the future? This guards against a scenario where an appointment was canceled and rescheduled after it was created. Without this check, the workflow would wake up and send a reminder to an appointment that no longer exists. If the appointment is still upcoming, the reminder email goes out. If not, the workflow stops silently. No email sent, no error, just a clean exit. That check makes the workflow resilient to real-world changes. If the appointment is still on, the reminder email will be sent. This will use the same structure as the confirmation email, but with a different copy. A friendly heads up that the appointment is tomorrow, with all the same details repeated so the invitee has everything they need without hunting for the original email. With this, the reminder will be sent automatically and no one on your team will have to do anything. Alright, so now that we have the full workflow together, we can see that the Google Calendar trigger will fire when a new event is created. Then the set node will format the data. Two paths will run simultaneously. The confirmation email will go out immediately. The wait node will hold, then check if the appointment is still upcoming before sending the reminder. 6 nodes altogether, fully automatic. Alright, so now that we have everything set for the workflow, let's make a test event on our calendar to make sure everything's working the way it should be. Alright, so make sure that the workflow is saved and is active. Alright, now we're going to go on our calendar, and on this day, tomorrow, 4:30, test events with the guest as myself, Shad. Yeah, that'll be good. All right, so this is 4:30. That's good. All right, send that to me. Send me the invite. All right, and then in our 24-hour wait appointment, we're gonna make sure that this is set to 4:30. All right, and that way we'll be able to see the full execution in about 2 minutes. Actually, you know what? I'm not really wanting to. Let's do it at 29. Let's cheat a little bit. Save. All right, now let's go to executions. All right, so the new execution is now running. Since the event has been created, the new execution is running right now. It's going to make sure that the execution succeeds and then make sure that all the nodes have fired off the way that it's supposed to be. And give it a little bit of time. All right, succeeded in about 37 seconds. Let's see what it looks like. All right, so it looks like all the data has passed through from the Google trigger through the set node, and it's gone all the way through towards the confirmation email. The wait node was finished, and then the reminder email was also set. All right, so let's make sure that these were actually given. So let's go to my other email, which is the guest of this, and see if I got the emails. All right, so that's from a previous test. All right, so the invitation, good. All right, so booking confirmed. We have the first confirmation email. Your appointment is confirmed. Here are your details. Very nice. All right, and then the reminder. Well, just a friendly reminder that we have an appointment coming up. All right, everything looks really, really good. Exactly what we were hoping for. And that's the workflow. Appointment created, confirmation sent instantly, and reminder sent automatically 24 hours out. Once it's running, it handles every new appointment without your team touching anything. Now here's a few things worth noting before you rely on this fully. The trigger fires on any new event in the calendar that you select, so make sure you're pointing it to a dedicated appointments calendar rather than your main one. The invitee email is pulled from the first attendee on the event, so the event needs to have at least one attendee added for the emails to go anywhere. And if an appointment is rescheduled rather than canceled, the original wait node will still run. So you don't want to handle rescheduling as a separate trigger event to manage that cleanly. Each of those is a natural step from what we built today. Drop a comment below with the type of appointments that you'd apply to this, and I'll look into covering those scenarios in future tutorials. Now, this workflow handles the communication side of client appointments automatically, but what happens in the conversation before someone books? Qualifying a lead, understanding what they need, and deciding if they're the right fit. That's where most service businesses lose time. If you want to see what a full client qualification system looks like built for a real business, that's what Stella covers. I'll link that case study in the description. And if you want to understand the thinking behind why the client experience at every touchpoint matters, from the first contact to the reminder email, I cover that in the business psychology series as well. That link will also be in the description. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below at all. I'll read them all.